What's going on, everybody? Back at it again at Strength We Trust with my partner here, Rashawn English. Just ready to give you guys another couple of jewels, another great episode, another great sense of energy. Just teaching you guys, learning you how to grow in your fitness journey, and when to start your fitness journey.
That will be the topic of conversation. We get this a lot. Like, we've been doing this for a long time. And I'm sure, Mike, you've had this happen to you where people are like, yo, I'm going to reach out to you. I want to get this in order before I start X, Y, and Z. So we figured it'd be a good idea to talk about the things that you need to have in place to start your journey. And it's probably going to be different than what most people expect. Because
Exactly.
honestly, the best time to start is right now. Literally,
1000%.
like right now, today, if you're listening to this podcast right now, like right now, because starting doesn't mean walking into the gym. It doesn't mean like you have to start lifting. That doesn't need to be the first step. There are things you could do outside of the gym to start improving the way that you feel on a daily basis. Because a lot of times, what prevents people from taking that first step into the gym are things going on outside the gym.
Hmm.
There's so many stresses going on that you don't even have the bandwidth to think about walking into the gym and then figuring out what to do with weights or figuring out what classes to take. Like it's just a lot. So, figure out what you can do right now. And go ahead. You said
No,
you
no, no. I was just gonna really tap into that, man. Is that like a lot of times people just get discouraged because they just don't know where to start. There's just such an information overload because information in the fitness industry is so readily available now that you don't really know what to take in and what not to take in when you're first starting out. And I think it's frustrating for most people is they almost get like what's the right word that I'm looking for? Is they get a little timid
Mhm.
or like they get a little scared about like, well, if I listen to the British program, I'm not doing this, but if I'm not doing that, then I'm not going to be able to get to this.
Yeah,
And it's like,
we need to paint the picture. Give me a good unisex name. What's a good unisex name? Hmm.
that's a tough one, like in terms of what, like where.
So a name that could work for a man or a woman.
uh
Wolf, you got one? Damn,
Damn.
I thought it was gonna be a lot easier. I just couldn't up with it myself. All
Stuck.
right.
But we'll keep it going.
All right,
But
we're gonna say Dave. All right, Dave
yes.
is not a unisex name, but if you are a woman, your name is Dana.
There you
Dave and
go.
Dana,
Dave and
right?
Dana, right? Like,
Dave and Dana are not happy with the way that they feel physically, mentally. They're working, they don't have a lot of time, but they want to get in better shape. What
and
can they do?
and what can they do
What
and
would be
where do
the
they
first
start?
thing that you would tell them?
Honestly, walking is always the best tool that I go to for everybody.
Hmm.
I think that's the most ex- accessible tool that you can add to your portfolio of exercise is walking.
Yeah,
I think that's the easiest one that you can attach to. It's something that you can do consistently. It's something that you can grow with.
and it's
It
free.
and it's FREE,
Free
baby.
99. We love
Exactly.
that.
And we love free, man. Like if we can get you to make an adaptation or change and it doesn't cost you a penny to do so,
That's a win.
that's what we want you to do. And so that's why I think walking is like the best essential tool that anybody that just wants to get off the couch and change their lifestyle, that's where the place to start. And I'm not even saying putting a timetable on it and how long you have to walk.
Just walk.
Just walk. Whatever your timetable consists of, that's you. That's your time. If it's 5 minutes, if it's 10 minutes that you can allot, if it's 30 minutes, if you happen to even have an hour, go for it. Like,
Because it's so underrated. Like people think like, all right, I want to get in better shape. I gotta start moving weight. Yeah, that's gonna
yes.
help you, but like don't discount the effects of and the adaptation that come with walking. Like when you walk, you will increase your capacity to handle stress. For somebody who's not moving a lot and lives a sedentary lifestyle, like the first time you go and walk for an hour, 2 hours, you're gonna feel that.
Yep.
But you do it consistently enough, and it's like, oh, this is light work. But just in that little journey from 1 hour being difficult to it being breeze, now you're more capable when you step foot in the gym.
Exactly.
So like it's there is value in inserting walking into the day. And it doesn't need to be a straight hour. You could say, okay, I'm going to walk after I have breakfast. I'm going to walk 10, 15 minutes after my meal, You have the treadmill
Yeah,
at your desk
yeah,
while you're working. There's many different ways to do that. When you go out with friends or go to do things, just park a little further. Just like try to walk as much as possible.
yep.
And you don't need to go crazy about it and try to measure exactly how many steps you're taking a day. Just walk.
Just walk.
Don't make it
Just
harder for
walk.
yourself.
Don't overthink the process. Don't make it just a numerical game. Like if I don't hit my 10,000 steps, I did something wrong.
Because that 10,000 step number, they pulled that out of the air. Like it came
Exactly.
from some study in Japan or China,
Yeah,
but
but
it's not a real like number that's like scientifically backed, right?
exactly.
It's just not about
The- if
10,000.
if you want to think, you know what the best thing to do is more.
More. There you go. Do more.
Do more. That's all you need to do. Don't worry about what the numerical number is. If you walked 1,000, and guess what? Now you're going for 1,500. If you do two, now you're going for three. That's whatever the name of the game
Do
is. Just do
more.
more. So
Walking's a good starting place.
exactly. Walking is a great starting place. Now after say you've created a healthy habit of let's say walking or just activity in general, I do think the best place to start when you're in the gym is to just learn your own body weight
You know what? We're not even gonna get to the gym yet because there's still so much you can do before you
before
even
you even
step
step in the gym.
sleep.
There you go. Yeah.
Sleep. And we talked about it on a previous
Yes.
episode, but like if you can't make it to the gym, know that getting some better sleep will
Game
make
changer.
you more likely to step foot in the gym.
Game changer.
If you have no energy at the end of your workday, your chance of going to the gym is slim to none. You can't rely on like Red Bulls or any of the energy drinks if you're just not motivated because your sleep isn't in order.
Mhm.
So like definitely focus on your sleep. And then the nutrition piece is tough though, because I find, and they've done studies with this, it's hard to I find that it's harder to eat in a healthy way without having movement to help stimulate, the healthier choices.
I agree because what happens, what we've learned and what we've been told is that your nutritional is the main source of adaptation and change, right?
Mhm.
Like that's the hub. What you do exercise wise and activity wise and sleep wise and stress management are all going to give you positive results from eating better. So they always try to make food like the nucleus, which I do believe is the case, but it's hard to create.
I disagree. I'm not gonna
Right.
lie.
I
I
I,
think
I
I think movement should
movement
be central.
but this is where I'm going to get to with that is they've made it the nucleus, but if you're not doing all those other things, you're not going to be mentally and emotionally inclined to make those better food choices.
Right.
So that was going to be my follow-up point is like
Yeah. So
I do agree that food
super
needs to
important.
is extremely important, right? But if you're not being stimulated in a positive manner in these other parts of your life, you're not going to be inclined to want to make those nutritional changes. So, like we said, just walking, getting better at just managing the amount of sleep you get. I can't emphasize it enough how crucial that is to just how you wake up every day
Hmm.
and how you approach your work, your family, your friends, your colleagues, whatever the case may be. It's only going to just put you a little bit further on your fitness journey, just a little bit.
And then one more thing I would say, I would tell somebody if they're looking to get in better shape, like spend more time and connect with more people who are already in their workout routine. Whoever are they're already in rhythm. Those people will keep you motivated.
100%.
If your friends, the people you spend a lot of time with, talk to a lot, are people who'd rather go drink or just not do anything active, those aren't the people you want to surround yourself with when you're trying to get started. You need to just like associate with people who are motivated to live a better, high quality lifestyle that includes movement, healthy choices, protecting your sleep, and those things that are important when it comes to your wellness routine.
Yeah.
You start doing those things, you're going to put yourself in a better position to actually get started. And just, focusing on those things, I guarantee you're going to feel better. Guarantee you're going to feel
100%.
better.
It's it's funny like the way you're describing that because I'm like, you ever see like a fit person with a whole bunch of people who aren't fit? No. You ever saw like a non, I guess you could say fit or healthy person with a bunch of healthy people? It doesn't. You don't really genuinely see that. Like,
All my friends work out.
thank
All,
you.
all
That's
my
what I'm
friends
saying.
work
Like,
out, and even if they fell off, they're still thinking about it and figuring out how to.
integrate it with
Yeah,
their
yeah.
lifestyle.
They
Like,
trying
if they've
to.
had kids or they got a promotion at work or
They
they
might have some
moved, they
setbacks,
have
but
whatever. They're still finding a
it's
way to
still
stay
important.
active,
Yeah.
right? And that's what we're saying is that, like, you got to surround yourself with people that are going to feed into a healthier way of living. If every person that's in your immediate circle is just consistently making poor food choices, have poor sleeping patterns, they drink a lot, they're smoking, whatever the case may be, that stuff weighs on you.
Yeah.
Like, whether you think it does or not,
Energy is
energy is
contagious.
contagious. And as long as they're surrounding you, it's going to be really hard to get yourself out of that rut.
Mhm.
And again, at the end of the day, we said it is ain't nothing better than free. And guess what? Surrounding yourself with people that are better energy
Free
is
99.
free. And why not go that route? All it's going to do is incline you to make better choices because all you're seeing around you is better choices.
I mean, listen, it might be hard to like break away from the herd and do what everybody else is doing, the people that you know, grew up with, or whatever like connection you had to them. But think about the person that means the most to you, and think about being there for them. Because when you don't feel good, you're not really there for them. You're doing them a disservice. Put them first, and then maybe that will help you make the decision that you need to. Because those other people, like, you know, when you're going to PT or you gotta take medication, they're not gonna be there with you.
No.
They're not. I mean, they'll probably be taking the medications too, or you know, not talking about the struggles that they're having. But just know that you're going to be suffering alone. So if you want that, then you could continue to make those choices that will put you there, or you could decide to say to yourself, like, I don't want that. I'm going to do something different.
Yeah.
And when you decide to do something different, and the people around you see how much better you feel, you're going to inspire them to want to make a change. So you could be
1000%.
that person.
Yeah. I mean, you got to fill your own cup. Like, it's real hard to make any changes when your cup is empty.
Yeah.
Like, you're whether it's allowing work to drain you, family and close people around you just to drain you constantly, or just let stress get to you, whether it's financial, emotional, whatever is draining your cup, you got to find a way to fuel yourself so that you don't become a burden to others later on in life. And
Mhm.
I know for me, that's a huge motivation for why at 35, I'm still consistently like, I got to keep training and I got to keep doing these positive things that keep helping me, because when I have a family in the future, I don't want my kids to have to take care of me.
Mhm.
And like, we have clients who are at those ages now where their kids are becoming of age, right? Where they're in their 50s and their 60s and their kids are now in their 20s pushing the 30s. And it's like that transitional time when the parents now become elderly is like, do you want to become a burden now to your children, or do you want to just have a healthy relationship with your children and you guys can both enjoy each other's lives together?
Mhm.
Because I know I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want my kids to have to take care of me.
Yeah, I have a family now.
Right.
I have a son, and I'm like, you know, he's only 1.5, but I'm thinking about if I don't do the things that I need to do right now, when he's old enough to be running around playing sports, I'm not going to be able to enjoy that with him.
Yeah,
And then I want to be able to like do stuff with grandkids one day.
exactly.
And I think that far because that's just how my
Yeah,
brain works.
but you're as a father now, you're gonna think about that kind of
Yeah, I
stuff.
mean,
And
maybe
that's
I don't know that everybody thinks about that stuff, but I'm thinking like, you know,
20,
30,
30,
40
40 years down the
years,
road.
especially because I work with some clients who are
Who
in
are
their
that age.
70s,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you know, what do I want my life to look like at
At
that
70.
age?
Exactly.
You know, and I'm not just thinking about financially, I'm talking about like physically, where do I want to be?
Yeah.
And I read about that somewhere, that you have to envision the person you want to be in, let's say 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and do the things to become that person.
1000%.
Every single day, you have to do the things to become that person. Whatever
Yeah.
habits that you need to create or get rid of to become that person, envision the person that you want to be in whatever time frame it is, in as much detail as possible,
Yep.
and do the things to become that
And
person.
then start implementing whatever steps are necessary to get you to that point.
Yeah, if there's
Yeah.
there's a skill set that you need to develop that you haven't yet, you gotta start now. And you know, this is one of them.
Yeah.
You know, what does your wellness practice look like? What does your wellness routine look like? Start figuring it out right now, because it doesn't get easier.
Exactly. The more time you sit down thinking about what your plan is going to be instead of just starting a plan, is the harder it's going to be. right?
every
And
day.
every day. And it's crazy because a lot of times I think people overthink their wellness journey and they think they have to implement a million and one things.
One thing at a time.
Just take it with a grain of salt, one thing at a time, man.
Hmm.
And you'll be surprised at the positive feedback you get from just changing one small task. Even if you tell yourself you're going to go to bed an hour earlier, that's going to change everything. If you tell yourself, I'm going to have one extra bottle of water today, every day for the next week, that's going to start to change things.
But you have to keep those promises you make to yourself.
Exactly. Don't just make a plan. There has to be an action taking place. And I even had these stickers on my wall at my last apartment,
Mhm.
and it was a purpose, plan, proof.
You need the proof.
And there you go.
You ultimately you need to prove to yourself that
Yep.
you can be that person. And every time you keep a promise to yourself, that's the proof that your mind needs to say, I can become that person.
Yeah, that
You
one really stuck with me,
you
man.
you
Yeah,
give yourself enough proof, and before you know it, you become that person. You're doing the thing.
yeah,
And then, over time, you'll see how much you transform.
100%.
And I tell people, like, you stay consistent with your journey for 2 years, it's going to be very hard to go back to the person you were before.
Yeah,
You'll be a
because
whole different person.
exactly, because like it going back to that is like you've created a purpose now, right? Because
Mhm.
now you're seeing what the benefit of your health is now and how it affects other people around you. Like you've enlightened others. So like now you have a real reason now to keep going. You've enlightened friends and family to change. Now you have this plan now. We're like, oh my God, how do I keep this going?
Mm.
And you start to implement things now. You're like, "Man, I gotta keep this on track. I gotta do this now a little bit more. And now the proof is in the pudding now. You look better, you feel better. People around you look better and feel better. So
Life
like
is going in a more
life is going in a
positive
more positive light. And it's like those three P's I feel like will never fail you. So if you're having trouble, go ahead and try to define those three P's to yourself and see what it's going to take to get you to that last P. Because everybody has a purpose, everybody has a reason,
Mhm.
everybody has a plan, but nobody ever gets to that last step most of the time. And so I want you to sit down and really think about that for yourself. Is like, how many times have you sat down and implemented a plan and not gone through with it?
And that's so important, man. Every time you don't keep those promises to yourself, you're allowing yourself to be the same person and not make any progress, not grow. Start with something very, very small, something very, very easy, but just developing that discipline to keep promises to yourself is what will allow you to, keep building habits, habit stacking until you get to the point where now you're doing it at a high level and, doing things that you never thought you could do, whether that's, maybe doing a chin up if you've never done a chin up before. Now we're bringing it back to movement. But these are the little things, and it doesn't always involve walking into the gym and doing something extremely heavy like that. That's you'll get there, but start somewhere. Start in a place where there's the least amount of friction, and then start stacking wins,
Yep.
stacking that proof,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So now that we tackle the stuff outside of the gym, like walking into the gym, body weight.
Yeah. Just start with yourself, man. Learn your body first. There is no reason on this earth that we should be implementing external forces if we're not don't even have the self-awareness on how to control things with our body, right?
Mhm.
And whether it's being able to sit into a squat for an extended period of time, whether it's being able to hold a plank for an extended period of time, whether it's being able to hang our let me correct myself there.
Yeah, we ain't hanging.
We ain't hanging
Nah,
like
we ain't
that.
doing that.
Whether it's being able to hold
We ain't doing it. You on your own,
I'm on
player.
my own, player.
I ain't doing none of that.
Whether it's able to just hold yourself up on a bar and just hang and feel your own body weight. What I'm really trying to get at is having that body awareness and self-awareness is the first biggest step in the gym. And I say this to every single client that I've probably ever had. I've had this discussion where I say the number one thing you'll notice in the first 30 days of training is an increase in body awareness.
Hmm.
That is the number one thing I noticed, not an increase in an aerobic capacity. You might get some relative strength feedback, you feel a little stronger, but the number one thing you feel is you're just way more acutely aware of what is going on in and outside of your body.
Yeah. And I actually was having this conversation with our engineer about getting really shredded just doing body weight. It can be done.
Yes.
It can be done, but just understand at a certain point, starting out is one thing. You're going to be much weaker in the beginning. and you'll get stronger. You go
Mhm.
from like 5 push-ups, maybe you're starting with 0 push-ups, you get to 1 to 5,
Yep.
10. Uh, but without the gym, it becomes increasingly more difficult to get the stimulus you need for growth.
Yep.
That's going to require a lot more volume. So, say you're now at like 30 push-ups, you probably need to get to like 40 push-ups to like
I say
feel the
40 to
fatigue.
50 is a time where you start like, when you start getting to that point where you start needing 40, 50 push-ups to feel like fatigue,
You need to get some
you
weights.
need to go get some weights.
Or if you have the time and you just want to be one of the calisthenics students, just know it's going to be harder. It's going to require a different level of mental discipline
Yep.
because now we're talking about a lot of reps, a whole lot of reps.
Yeah, we're talking
Uh,
about hundreds and thousands of reps that you're gonna need when you get to a point where your body weight is no longer giving you that feedback and stimulus
and
that you're
it
looking
is a
for.
trade off, right? Like you go to the gym, like, it's much easier to go up. It's like, oh, I could do 50 this week for 10. Oh, next week I could just grab a heavier dumbbell and do like 55 or 60 for 10. Or I'm just moving a pin and now like that's a greater stimulus. But when you're doing the calisthenics, but let me go back to the weights too. But because it's so easy to do that, that's why your chance of injury go up because
Mhm.
it's much easier to go up in weight when maybe you're not ready to, or maybe you just don't need to. You could just up the volume or change the tempo or go unilateral. But when you're doing it in calisthenics, you increase the volume, like the adaptation on your joints, like those people are just much stronger.
Yeah,
Like they're just much stronger.
1000%,
They
1000%.
they work on those smaller muscles through the volume and the sheer like just the sheer grit that they put into what they do. That
1000%.
I think their chances of injury, and I haven't looked at the numbers, but I think their injuries are lower. It's much harder to go heavier.
Well, 100% because they don't have as much external force. Like their force is them.
Yeah, they just work with their body weight, and it's much
Exactly.
easier to say, okay, I don't got it today, or
Exactly.
I'm
Like
or
your
I'm
your
done.
your muscles are going to communicate to you whether or not they have it or not that day.
So there's a trade off. You'll
Yeah.
get bigger faster once you start touching weights, but your injury risk goes up. It'll take you long to get bigger, but like when you do get bigger,
It's
you're
going
gonna
to
be
stick.
different.
It's going to stick. Yeah.
You're gonna be
100%. It's going to
different.
stick. I think what you kind of tapped in really quickly too is that a lot of times when people are starting their journey, they tend to change too many variables too quick.
Mhm,
Right. And you were going through them real quick, whether it was tempo, going unilateral, your rest periods, the
mhm,
amount of volume, the weight itself.
mhm.
A lot of times I feel like people they're too quick to move on to the next variable when it's like just take it one at a time.
I mean, that goes back to what you're talking about with the plan. There is no plan, so I just keep going heavier.
They just keep going heavier for the sake of going heavier. And look, there's a time and a place in every program where you should be progressively overloading the body. Absolutely. I think that's a baseline for a lot of strength programs. And that is correct. We do want you to get stronger over a period of time. But the weight doesn't always have to be the variable that changes. I just want you to know that while you're in the gym on your own. If you see people around you plugging away weights and throwing on more plates, and you're like, damn, I got to do that too. No, you don't. You can get stronger with implementing tempo reps. You can get stronger with changing your rest periods. You can get stronger with creating unilateral or unstable environments, right? Giving you more proprioception. Like there's so many different ways on your journey that you can get better that doesn't always involve just
Going
throwing
heavier.
more plates on the scale. It's not necessary. Like
Yeah.
there's been, look, I can tell you even right now, like when it comes to like doing the Olympic lifting, when I'm doing it, I, a lot of times I'm lifting around the same weight, but I know I'm getting stronger because things of like I don't need as much rest. I'm not as fatigued after the set is over. Uh, the way my body just feels the next day is a
Mhm,
communicative factor of whether or not I'm getting stronger.
mhm.
So I want you guys to understand that there's so many different nuances to the game when it comes to getting stronger, besides you just seeing more weight on a machine or more weight on a barbell or more weight on a dumbbell in your hand. There's just so many different little factors to it.
Yeah, but I just want to bring it full circle. So if you're somebody who hasn't started, or if you started it and stopped on and off for however many years it's been, you know, get back on the horse,
Yep.
start looking at what you can do right now. It doesn't get any easier. And the longer you wait, the harder it gets. Every single day. And I'm not trying to, be fear mongering or anything like that. I'm just being real with you. Time is going to keep moving. Your body's going to keep aging. And if you don't figure out how to prioritize what your body needs, uh, the medical system will not save you.
No,
It just won't.
it won't. Yeah, and you.
We haven't figured that out. They treat the symptoms. Our health spans are getting shorter, and if you aren't focused on saving you, nobody else will.
You that's it right there. Ain't nobody gonna save you but you.
Yeah.
You ain't
So
lying. So look, tap in. Sometimes you gotta look yourself in the mirror. Like Rashawn was saying, if you fell off the horse, if you're just getting back on, now's the time to do it. Yesterday is the time to do it. If I'm being
yeah, and
honest
it's
with you,
okay. It happens to
it happens
all.
to the
It
best of us.
happens to
Look,
all of us.
we've
We've
gone
all
through it.
gone through it.
We know people who have gone through it multiple times over, and that's fine. We just want you to know that your time is now. Your time is right now. You want to
Right
better your
now.
right now. You want to better yourself. This is the time to do it. Look at yourself in the mirror. Take a moment, have a conversation with yourself, and understand if I want to make a change, I can't wait anymore.
Yeah.
I gotta do it right
Tomorrow,
now.
I'm gonna drink a bottle of water first thing when I wake up, and I'm gonna do that every day for the next month.
There
I'm
it
gonna
is.
go to sleep a little bit earlier. Whatever it is for you, start there.
And that's how we going. Yeah, we're gonna leave them with that, man. But that's the kind of energy I want, though, man. For real.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. As always,
Strength we trust.
Strength We Trust in the building. Give us a subscription on all platforms. We're on YouTube, we're Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. Hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate all the support and love that we've been getting since we started this. I can't believe, I mean, when this comes out, it might be a little bit longer down the road, but we like 6, 7 months in, man.
Yeah.
Like legit, we've been putting in the time and the effort. And we just want to say how happy and appreciative we are for everything that's been coming along this journey. And we'll catch you guys again soon.
Yeah. With that said, we out.
Strength We Trust, baby. Yeah, that was solid. We got
Yeah,
one
yeah.
more.